Lanka. Our colleagues are here from abroad to share with you a lot of knowledge and to start the function for UCSC to come and grace this event with us, and also CEO of TechCert, Mr. Dilip Latsara. Welcome you all, and we will now light the oil lamp, traditional oil lamp, and mark this ceremony opened.
Don't get much opportunity here in Sri Lanka to, especially the community here, to participate in those events as well. Of course, you know, there are opportunities like fellowships and things like that to go and participate in other network operation forum, but then those are very limited. If you talk about SANOG, the South Asia Network Operations Group, we have had that in Sri Lanka a few times, but over the period of last 18 years or so. And hopefully we will be successful in that, and we look forward to that. So with that note, I would really welcome you for your time and effort today, and hopefully you will have a good event during the day, and good luck, and thank you. So with that, I think I will finish my presentation. And also, as you can see, that we are doing everything by our own, so we haven't really got any events management companies or any professionals to even do comparing and things like that. So the committee is doing all that things today by ourselves. So with that note, I want to actually invite our keynote speaker. We have two keynote speakers today. The first keynote speaker is Professor Gihan Dias. So Professor Gihan Dias, actually you don't really need
to a network operator. True or false? So what do you think? I mean, security, is it important to a network operator or not? So I don't know if anybody is willing to answer, but I hope most people would say true, right? Because without security you really cannot run a network, right? You are sooner or later going to get into big trouble. Okay, so then let me ask the next question. What is security? A system is secure. This is my definition of security. Let's see if we can understand that. If you can rely on it to behave as it should behave, right? So what I am trying to say is that if a system is secure, that it should behave in such a way that you expect it or that it should work. Because if it is not secure, then it might work in a way that it should not work. Right? In fact, maybe it's easy to understand it if you reverse the statement. A system which is not secure will not behave the way you expect it to work, right? Then somebody hits them, you can't be bothered. But through your network, if something comes to this, laptop. What's the to remove every 10, right? Millions of devices and attack you. Okay, but much more likely you will be used as a bot, as a device to launch attacks against someone else, which is bad for you because your resources are being used, as well as you will get blamed and maybe blacklisted, or even in the worst case arrested for launching an attack. Then the other one, which maybe you can just ask in this audience, who has got affected by ransomware? Okay, nobody's willing to raise a hand, right? But I'm sure that at least half here have, maybe not directly on your particular machine, but within your organization had a ransomware incident. So typically ransomware encrypts files and asks you for money, often in bitcoins. Sometimes it's just a nuisance, you just sort of clean up and keep going, but in some cases it's a major disaster, because if some of your servers get hit and your major databases get wiped out, it's a problem. So recently we had some student project, and suddenly their database had got cleaned up and they were asking for money. Luckily it was a student project and nothing very critical, so we just worked around it. But this could have easily happened to a more critical thing, right? So how do you deal with ransomware? You need to make sure your data is backed up regularly, and of course ensure your backups are protected, right? Remember, encrypted, and you could be asked for ransom for that as well. Some people, there is some help given to them to ensure security. That's what I was trying to say.
And have a chat, network, and use this platform, because this is only the beginning, and it's a journey for Lknog. Let's go outside and
how the internet has evolved in Sri Lanka, right? So with that, I would like to invite Rohit, and he's the CEO.
A better situation than just looking at the historical things. So if I take the early days, I took 9080 CL and IBM were the around players, but other computer vendors came. Even at this point, PCs were not heard of. Mini computers were there, and there were small systems, proprietary systems done by a company called Radio Shack and Commodore. Apple IIe had just been launched in US and few had come to Sri Lanka, but still there was the PC business had not really taken off. In Sri Lanka, one of the big developments was at this time, Telecom started this one.
now It is not in the right. So that is the message is carrying around if I am working with both protocols, and you don't need to jump. Like it's not like that you are migrating from IPv4 to IPv6. They are called network managers for ISP operators, for the access operators. So there are so many places where there are, complexities, the gateways, the BRASs, the ADSL router itself, and then the ISP, then the counting of usage, so many complexities. If you did not start that early, this wouldn't have become a reality today, because you are now enjoying IPv6 on LTE as well as ADSL. So, comfort zone, V4 will be switched off. 17% now. Within 1 year, it will be more than 25%. There are some operators who are only IPv6. The iOSs, the Androids are going for IPv6 only apps. So the demand will come from end user devices itself, and some of the other operators who are only on IPv6. So there's no chicken and egg syndrome. It was there when we started. Now it is no more. Now it is the chicken has actually come out of the egg, right? We are in the early majority stage now. So there's no more chicken and egg. No demand versus supply issue is not really there now. It is that thing is now, that equation has broken. For a service provider, in my case study, I'm not particularly speaking for SLT, but any service provider will face the same concerns. It's a long and difficult journey. Success depends on some individuals who are leading it, and you have to lead from the top. And you have to learn and aware the others. You share your knowledge and bring them to the comfort zone. And you have to lead and create a task force or a steering committee to do things that you will not do as your day-to-day business. And you have to get the blessings of the management, and then operationalize in stages, gradually. So the natural path for service providers is to go for dual stack, right? All of the service providers here, I think, who are supporting IPv6 are on dual stack. Because we have to support both V4 only customers and V6 only customers and dual stack customers. So first thing we did enable the ISP network and its services, supporting services. We upgraded the routers, ISP, DNS servers. Definitely you need DNS servers, otherwise your browsing will not be resolved. Your addresses will not be resolved to IPv4 addresses, V6 addresses. And upgrade your web services, www.slt.lk. You upgrade. It's not a difficult task. Configure your security infrastructure. That is very key. Your firewalls, your IPSs, your DDoS protection systems, your all the threat prevention mechanisms have to be thoroughly investigated and properly managed. All the configurations that you have for IPv4 similarly has to be put on to IPv6. But the next generation devices, they support object-wise control. Say you want to control something, you select object, not the IP, and then put the rule onto it. And it's becoming easier now. And you have to enable your NMSs. Once you put IPv6 on, if your NM systems, everything has to support that. So finally, coming to custom equipment, the routers that we have here, and over the back there are LT CPs and ADSL CPs or fiber network CPs. They were not supporting few years back, but now they get shipped supporting dual stack. It's just a matter of ticking that dual stack enable V4, V6. When you tick that and then you do a simple tweaking on the router,
it's immediately starts giving you IPv6. But don't go home and do that immediately. We are now in the stage of deploying it, mass scale, but it will take some time. Gradually, we will, the new CPs are anyway shipping out to the customer enabled. And all the CPs, we need to do some changes on the field. And then the customer care. We have to make sure that our customer care people, our systems that support customer care, have to support, have to understand the two protocols and what the complexities are. Cost-wise, there's almost no cost. We didn't spend IPv6 specific dollars. I can make sure that I can actually commit to that, because we didn't spend any money for IPv6 investments. What we did was we enforced policy, whatever you buy, next you have to have that capability. So there's no IPv6 particular investments. No added cost. In fact, to manage with the existing IPv4 traffic, we had to invest on carrier grade netting, because we didn't have enough IPs. We had to net maybe one IP shared with 32 customers, 64 customers or so. So for that we had to invest, but for IPv6 we didn't have to invest specifically, right? So all the things that we got was because we were ready and we learned the technology and we were ready and we started early. Training and development is the only cost I can tell you as a service provider that we had IPv6 specific. But again, that is also built into anyway the carrier level trainings that we had for engineers. That was inbuilt into that. The steps that you need to take and start early and behind. And Lknog can assist you in the future. We hope to, Champika, I think we can arrange some awarenesses, workshops, as if there's a demand. There are people that can help, and thank you. So Wi-Fi is enabled IPv6. You can play around and see what's happening there. See the prefixes. You can see how the DNS is working and everything is there. You can see what routes it's taking. And you check your laptop if you have one. If you have a phone, you can download an app and do this. See what's happening. IPv6. Thank you very much.
Some tools we are using in Learn. Basically, most of them are in open source. You can see University of Peradeniya, Moratuwa, Kaladi and Sri Lanka in one image. So this is a CACTI-based monitoring one, and we have given it several colors depending on the band utilization. The green one is their downloads, and the yellow one is 9:20 to 12 a.m. Time. And the next one, as we were talking about IPv6, this is one of the 30 days, and these are the top IP addresses which are counted. The first 5 IP addresses are IPv4 addresses, and the other 3 is IPv6. But the funniest part is, out of that all IP addresses, except for 2, all other goes to 11 repeatless nodes at the moment in Sri Lanka that is working, and there were 4. Just you can ask me anything. And we are hoping in another few Lknog to do network monitoring and management and measuring workshop. So any questions?
Any questions for Tilina? Yes, Asel.
All these tools are open source, and you have not paid anything for it, right?
Sorry,
All these applications are open source.
Yes,
and
open source.
It's not under support from anybody.
No, most of them are under support because there are a lot of issues with open source. So we have to know what we are doing exactly, and yes, there are a lot of commercial variants of those softwares. But
what differences do you see?
In fact, two components. One is covered by Harsha. So Harsha is already here. So I will cover parts of it, and then I'll hand over to Harsha for some discussions on a certain topic. Okay, I need to get my slide. I think it's gone back again. Okay. All right. So I have put here like three things. Of course, one thing is the protocol parameters. As I said before, things like port numbers and so on. And then the names are pretty much domain names, and then the IP addresses, of course. Now, we had some discussion before about IPv4 and IPv6. So in terms of IPv6, our role is that we have a function called IANA function. IANA stands for Internet Assigned Numbers Authority, and currently it's called as the PTI, Public Technical Identifiers. So IANA keep the central pool of IP addresses, or PTI keep the central pool of IP addresses, and then delegate or distribute to the regional internet registries, or RIR. So in Asia Pacific region, of course, it's APNIC that distribute the IP addresses in the Asia Pacific region, and also engage with the community, especially with the policies and so on, right? Okay, so DNS is also something very important for us because we coordinate the domain name system, or the DNS. Now, as you all know, DNS is a distributed database, right? You can see here we have root in the top of the DNS hierarchy, the root itself, the root database, or we call root zone. And then we have lots of these delegations, or top-level domain delegations. Protecting DNS infrastructure in green color, but there are some countries, of course, in some of the white areas there you can see, those CCTLDs, they still have to deploy DNSSEC. Now, if you see those red color bars in your left, 6 years ago, back in 2007, in these update to this process, I think with this, then obviously your DNS, your parent would be .lk. So you have to make sure that .lk has signed. Otherwise, because in DNSSEC, your trust would always propagate all the way to the root. So for example, if you sign yourself, say my in the Europe and so on, right? Say if you do not have a root server here in Sri Lanka, obviously when if you remember that DNS query process I had, first the recursive server will go and talk to root servers. So if you don't have a root server locally, your query will go outside. Maybe it depends on, of course, the routing and how your upstream. I don't have the slide now, the video is running, but if you remember that slide I had, the client talks to a resolver first, and this resolver is generally run by, say, ISP operator, right? And then resolver goes and talk to root, and then root would say go and talk to authoritative of TLD, and then TLD would say go and talk to the authoritative of the next level, right? So ultimately the resolvers, they are going and talking to the authoritative servers. So if you have, say, SLT.lk, SLT.lk has got your own authoritative servers serving the SLT.lk zone, right? And then you might be having your own the end result. So you know, basically server not found. So you won't be able to.
So they said they are going to we have asked certain members to be part of it and to work on it.
எல்லா வேலையுமே ரொம்ப ஈஸி. அதுக்கு காரணம் SLT 4G.
உன் லைஃபை புதிதாக்கும் 4G கனெக்ஷன் SLT 4G. SLT 4G உங்கள் வாழ்க்கையை புதிதாக்கும்.
Even managing office is easy. SLT 4G.
Some would say it's like something out of science fiction. Or it can take you into a world of movies whenever you choose. And it's where rain never interferes with the action. Watch more than one program at a time. Or travel back in time to watch it over again and again. You think that's amazing? There's still so much more to see. PLTV, the best way to watch TV.
सारा मैं खेती हद मोरा प्रीमियम दारा प्रीमियम दारा
SLT 4G लाइफ खालू कराई
Now my life is very cool. Every moment is active. Even managing office is easy. SLT 4G is the reason.
Call your life with SLT 4G. Now my life is very cool. Everything is easy. Every moment is fun. SLT 4G is the reason. Call your life with SLT 4G. ඔබේ TV එක තවදුරටත් TV එකක් පමණක් නොවේ. විටක නවීන විද්‍යාත්මක ප්‍රබන්ධයකටත් එහා ඔබව රැගෙන යයි. ඔබට රිසි චිත්‍රපටලවත් ගෙනෙයි. වර්ෂාව කිසි විටක බාධාවක් නොවේ. එකම වේලාවක වැඩසටහන් දිත්වයක්. එසේම ඔබට අවැසි දේ නැවත නැවතත්. සැබවින්ම මෙය පුදුමයක්. ඔබට අදහා ගන්න බැරි තව බොහෝ දේ මෙය සතුයි. Pure TV. TV බලන හොඳම විදිහ.
දැන් මගේ ලයිෆ් එක හරිම cool. හැම මොහොතක්ම හරිම ඇක්ටිව්. ඕනම වැඩක් හරිම easy. ඒ SLT 4G නිසා.
ඔබේ ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරන 4G කනෙක්ෂන් එක SLT 4G. SLT 4G ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරයි. Now your TV is no longer just a TV. Some would say it's like something out of science fiction. Or it can take you into a world of movies whenever you choose. And it's where rain never interferes with the action. Watch more than one program at a time. Or travel back in time to watch it over again and again. You think that's amazing? There's still so much more to see. POTV, the best way to watch TV.
सारा मैं खेती हद मोरा प्रेमे अमदारा ओ प्रेमे अमदारा में सारा मैं खेती
இப்போ என்னோட லைஃப் ரொம்ப கூல். எப்பவுமே ரொம்ப ஆக்டிவ். எல்லா வேலையுமே ரொம்ப ஈஸி. அதுக்கு காரணம் SLT 4G.
உங்கள் லைஃபை புதிதாக்கும் 4G கனெக்ஷன் SLT 4G. SLT 4G உங்கள் வாழ்க்கையை புதிதாக்கும். කැමති සිංහල දෙමළ හින්දි ඉංග්‍රීසි චිත්‍රපටයක් ඔබ කැමති ඕනෑම වෙලාවක නරඹන්න. සිනමාව ඔබේ නිවසට කැඳවන POTV වීඩියෝ ඔන් ඩිමාන්ඩ්. ආලින්දේ සිනමාව. දැන් මගේ ලයිෆ් එක හරිම කූල්. හැමදේම හරිම easy. හැම මොහොතක්ම හරිම fun. ඒ SLT 4G නිසා. ඔබේ ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරන 4G කනෙක්ෂන් එක SLT 4G. SLT 4G ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරයි.
ඔබේ සිනාලඟ නිත නැවතුණුදා ඔබේ කතාලඟ සිත නැවතුණුදා.
Now my life is very cool. Every moment is active. Even managing office is easy. SLT 4G is the reason.
Cover your life with SLT 4G. Now my life is very cool. Everything is easy. Every moment is fun. SLT 4G is the reason. Cover your life with SLT 4G. ඔබේ TV එක තවදුරටත් TV එකක් පමණක් නොවේ. විටක නවීන විද්‍යාත්මක ප්‍රබන්ධයකට එහා ඔබව රැගෙන යයි. ඔබට රිසි චිත්‍රපටලවත් ගෙනෙයි. වර්ෂාව කිසි විටක බාධාවක් නොවේ. වැඩසටහන් දිත්වයක්. එසේම ඔබට අවැසි දේ නැවත නැවතත්. සැබවින්ම මෙය පුදුමයක්. ඔබට අදහා ගන්න බැරි තව බොහෝ දේ මෙය සතුයි. Pure TV. TV බලන හොඳම විදිය.
දැන් මගේ ලයිෆ් එක හරිම cool. හැම මොහොතක්ම හරිම ඇක්ටිව්. ඕනම වැඩක් හරිම easy. ඒ SLT 4G නිසා.
ඔබේ ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරන 4G කනෙක්ෂන් එක SLT 4G. SLT 4G ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරයි. Now your TV is no longer just a TV. Some would say it's like something out of science fiction. Or it can take you into a world of movies whenever you choose. And it's where rain never interferes with the action. Watch more than one program at a time. Or travel back in time to watch it over again and again. You think that's amazing? There's still so much more to see. POTV, the best way to watch TV.
मिसाला रखती हद मोरा जितने अमदाला उतने अमदाला दुनिया मिसाला रखती
இப்போ என்னோட லைஃப் ரொம்ப கூல். எப்பவுமே ரொம்ப ஆக்டிவ். எல்லா வேலையுமே ரொம்ப ஈஸி. அதுக்கு காரணம் SLT 4G.
உங்கள் லைஃபை புதிதாக்கும் 4G கனெக்ஷன் SLT 4G. SLT 4G உங்கள் வாழ்க்கையை புதிதாக்கும். කැමති සිංහල දෙමළ හින්දි ඉංග්‍රීසි චිත්‍රපටයක් ඔබ කැමති ඕනෑම වෙලාවක නරඹන්න. සිනමාව ඔබේ නිවසට කැඳවන POTV වීඩියෝ ඔන් ඩිමාන්ඩ්. ආලින්දේ සිනමාව. දැන් මගේ ලයිෆ් එක හරිම cool. හැමදේම හරිම easy. හැම මොහොතක්ම හරිම fun. ඒ SLT 4G නිසා. ඔබේ ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරන 4G කනෙක්ෂන් එක SLT 4G. SLT 4G ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරයි.
ඔබේ සිනාලඟ නිත නැවතුණුදා ඔබේ කතාලඟ සිත නැවතුණුදා.
Now my life is very cool. Every moment is active. Even managing office is easy. SLT 4G is the reason.
Cover your life with SLT 4G. Now my life is very cool. Everything is easy. Every moment is fun. SLT 4G is the reason. Call your life with SLT 4G. ඔබේ TV එක තවදුරටත් TV එකක් පමණයි.
සිනාලඟ නිත නැවතුණුදා ඔබේ කතාලඟ සිත නැවතුණුදා.
Now my life is very cool. Every moment is active. Even managing office is easy. SLT 4G is the reason.
Call your life with SLT 4G. Now my life is very cool. Everything is easy. Every moment is fun. SLT 4G is the reason. Call your life with SLT 4G. ඔබේ TV එක තවදුරටත් TV එකක් පමණක් නොවේ. විටක නවීන විද්‍යාත්මක ප්‍රබන්ධයකට මෙහා ඔබව රැගෙන යයි. ඔබට රිසි චිත්‍රපටලවත් ගෙනෙයි. වර්ෂාව කිසි විටක බාධාවක් නොවේ. එකම වේලාවක වැඩසටහන් දිත්වයක්. එසේම ඔබට අවැසි දේ නැවත නැවතත්. සැබවින්ම මෙය පුදුමයක්. ඔබට අදහා ගන්න බැරි තව බොහෝ දේ මෙය සතුයි. Pure TV. TV බලන හොඳම විදිහ.
දැන් මගේ ලයිෆ් එක හරිම cool. හැම මොහොතක්ම හරිම ඇක්ටිව්. ඕනම වැඩක් හරිම easy. ඒ SLT 4G නිසා.
ඔබේ ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරන 4G කනෙක්ෂන් එක SLT 4G. SLT 4G ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරයි. Now your TV is no longer just a TV. Some would say it's like something out of science fiction. Or it can take you into a world of movies whenever you choose. And it's where rain never interferes with the action. Watch more than one program at a time. Or travel back in time to watch it over again and again. You think that's amazing? There's still so much more to see. POTV, the best way to watch TV.
सारा खेती हद मोरा में अमदारा में अमदारा में सारा खेती
இப்போ என்னோட லைஃப் ரொம்ப கூல். எப்பவுமே ரொம்ப ஆக்டிவ். எல்லா வேலையுமே ரொம்ப ஈஸி. அதுக்கு காரணம் SLT 4G.
உங்கள் லைஃபை புதிதாக்கும் 4G கனெக்ஷன் SLT 4G. SLT 4G உங்கள் வாழ்க்கையை புதிதாக்கும். කැමති සිංහල දෙමළ හින්දි ඉංග්‍රීසි චිත්‍රපටයක් ඔබ කැමති ඕනෑම වෙලාවක නරඹන්න. සිනමාව ඔබේ නිවසට කැඳවන Pure TV Video on Demand. ආලින්දේ සිනමාව. දැන් මගේ ලයිෆ් එක හරිම cool. හැමදේම හරිම easy. හැම මොහොතක්ම හරිම fun. ඒ SLT 4G නිසා. ඔබේ ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරන 4G කනෙක්ෂන් එක SLT 4G. SLT 4G ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරයි.
ඔබේ සිනාලඟ නිත නැවතුණුදා ඔබේ කතා ළඟ සිත නැවතුණුදා.
Now my life is very cool. Every moment is active. Even managing office is easy. SLT 4G is the reason.
Call your life with SLT 4G. Now my life is very cool. Everything is easy. Every moment is fun. SLT 4G is the reason. Call your life with SLT 4G. ඔබේ TV එක තවදුරටත් TV එකක් පමණක් නොවේ. විටක නවීන විද්‍යාත්මක ප්‍රබන්ධයකටත් එහා ඔබව රැගෙන යයි. ඔබට රිසි චිත්‍රපටලවත් ගෙනෙයි. වර්ෂාව කිසි විටක බාධාවක් නොවේ. එකම වේලාවක වැඩසටහන් දුත්වයක්. එසේම ඔබට අවැසි දේ නැවත නැවතත්. සැබවින්ම මෙය පුදුමයක්. ඔබට අදහා ගන්න බැරි තව බොහෝ දේ මෙය සතුයි. Pure TV. TV බලන හොඳම විදිය.
දැන් මගේ ලයිෆ් එක හරිම cool. හැම මොහොතක්ම හරිම ඇක්ටිව්. ඕනම වැඩක් හරිම easy. ඒ SLT 4G නිසා.
ඔබේ ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරන 4G කනෙක්ෂන් එක SLT 4G. SLT 4G ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරයි. Now your TV is no longer just a TV. Some would say it's like something out of science fiction. Or it can take you into a world of movies whenever you choose. And it's where rain never interferes with the action. Watch more than one program at a time. Or travel back in time to watch it over again and again. You think that's amazing? There's still so much more to see. Pure TV, the best way to watch TV.
ජලයේ ගැඹුර ඔරුව දන්නේ නෑ මලේ සුවඳ ජලය දන්නේ නෑ හිතේ අරුම නඟා දන්නේ නෑ
मिसाला मैं खेती हद मोरा में अमदारा में अमदारा मिसाला मैं खेती
life ரொம்ப cool. எப்பவுமே ரொம்ப active. எல்லா வேலையுமே ரொம்ப ஈஸி. அதுக்கு காரணம் SLT 4G.
உங்கள் லைஃபை புதிதாக்கும் 4G கனெக்ஷன் SLT 4G. SLT 4G உங்கள் வாழ்க்கையை புதிதாக்கும். ඔබ කැමති සිංහල දෙමළ හින්දි ඉංග්‍රීසි චිත්‍රපටයක් ඔබ කැමති ඕනෑම වෙලාවක නරඹන්න. සිනමාව ඔබේ නිවසට කැඳවන POTV වීඩියෝ ඔන් ඩිමාන්ඩ්. ආලින්දේ සිනමාව. දැන් මගේ ලයිෆ් එක හරිම කූල්. හැමදේම හරිම ඊසි. හැම මොහොතක්ම හරිම ෆන්. ඒ SLT 4G නිසා. ඔබේ ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරන 4G කනෙක්ෂන් එක SLT 4G. SLT 4G ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරයි.
ඔබේ සිනාලඟ නිත නැවතුණුදා ඔබේ කතාලඟ සිත නැවතුණුදා.
Now my life is very cool. Every moment is active. Even managing office is easy. SLT 4G is the reason.
Cover your life with SLT 4G. Now my life is very cool. Everything is easy. Every moment is fun. SLT 4G is the reason. Cover your life with SLT 4G. ඔබේ TV එක තවදුරටත් TV එකක් පමණක් නොවේ. විටක නවීන විද්‍යාත්මක ප්‍රබන්ධයකට එහා ඔබව රැගෙන යයි. ඔබට රිසි චිත්‍රපටලවත් ගෙනෙයි. වර්ෂාව කිසි විටක බාධාවක් නොවේ. එකම වේලාවක වැඩසටහන් දිත්වයක්. එසේම ඔබට අවැසිතේ නැවත නැවතත්. සැබවින්ම මෙය පුදුමයක්. ඔබට අදහාගන්න බැරි තව බොහෝ දේ මෙය සතුයි. Pure TV. TV බලන හොඳම විදිහ.
දැන් මගේ ලයිෆ් එක හරිම cool. හැම මොහොතක්ම හරිම active. ඕනම වැඩක් හරිම easy. ඒ SLT 4G නිසා.
ඔබේ ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරන 4G කනෙක්ෂන් එක SLT 4G. SLT 4G ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරයි. Now your TV is no longer just a TV. Some would say it's like something out of science fiction. Or it can take you into a world of movies whenever you choose. And it's where rain never interferes with the action. Watch more than one program at a time. Or travel back in time to watch it over again and again. You think that's amazing? There's still so much more to see. POTV, the best way to watch TV.
ජලයේ ගැඹුර ඔරුව දන්නේ නෑ මලේ සුවඳ ජලය දන්නේ නෑ ඒ අරුම නඟා දන්නේ නෑ
सारा नखी हद मोरा प्रेमे अमदारा ओ प्रेमे अमदारा सारा नखी
இப்போ என்னோட லைஃப் ரொம்ப கூல். எப்பவுமே ரொம்ப ஆக்டிவ். எல்லா வேலையுமே ரொம்ப ஈஸி. அதுக்கு காரணம் SLT 4G.
உங்கள் லைஃபை புதிதாக்கும் 4G கனெக்ஷன் SLT 4G. SLT 4G உங்கள் வாழ்க்கையை புதிதாக்கும். ඔබ කැමති සිංහල දෙමළ හින්දි ඉංග්‍රීසි චිත්‍රපටයක් ඔබ කැමති ඕනෑම වෙලාවක නරඹන්න. සිනමාව ඔබේ නිවසට කැඳවන Pure TV Video on Demand. ආලින්දේ සිනමාව. දැන් මගේ ලයිෆ් එක හරිම cool. හැමදේම හරිම easy. හැම මොහොතක්ම හරිම fun. ඒ SLT 4G නිසා. ඔබේ ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරන 4G කනෙක්ෂන් එක SLT 4G. SLT 4G ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරයි.
ඔබේ සිනාලඟ නිත නැවතුණුදා ඔබේ කතාලඟ සිත නැවතුණුදා.
Now my life is very cool. Every moment is active. Even managing office is easy. SLT 4G is the reason.
Cover your life with SLT 4G. Now my life is very cool. Everything is easy. Every moment is fun. SLT 4G is the reason. Call your life with SLT 4G. ඔබේ TV එක තවදුරටත් TV එකක් පමණක් නොවේ. විටක නවීන විද්‍යාත්මක ප්‍රබන්ධයකටත් එහා ඔබව රැගෙන යයි. ඔබට රිසි චිත්‍රපටලවත් ගෙනෙයි. වර්ෂාව කිසිවිටක බාධාවක් නොවේ. එකම වේලාවක වැඩසටහන් දුත්වයක්. එසේම ඔබට අවැසි දේ නැවත නැවතත්. සැබවින්ම මෙය පුදුමයක්. ඔබට අදහා ගන්න බැරි තව බොහෝ දේ මෙය සතුයි. Pure TV. TV බලන හොඳම විදිහ.
දැන් මගේ ලයිෆ් එක හරිම cool. හැම මොහොතක්ම හරිම ඇක්ටිව්. ඕනම වැඩක් හරිම easy. ඒ SLT 4G නිසා.
ඔබේ ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරන 4G කනෙක්ෂන් එක SLT 4G ලයිෆ් එක අලුත් කරයි. Now your TV is no longer just a TV. Some would say it's like something out of science fiction. Or it can take you into a world of movies, whenever you choose. And where rain never interferes with the action. Watch more than one program at a time, or travel back in time to watch it over again and again. You think that's amazing? There's still so much more to see. POTV, the best way to watch TV.
ජලයේ ගැඹුර ඔරුව දන්නේ නෑ මලේ සුවඳ ජලය දන්නේ නෑ හිතේ අරුම නඟා දන්නේ නෑ
मिसाला खेती हद मोरा प्रेमे अमदारा ओ प्रेमे अमदारा मिसाला खेती
Microsoft APAC, and thanks Wellington as well. Then we have Mohammed Mustali, right? Oh yes, Mustali, and he's the head of data center at Mobitel. Yes, thanks Mustali for that. Also we have Tarindu Mipegama, and Tarindu is also actually, he's a consultant as well. He has a lot of expertise in the area as well. So we have a very good, oh yes. Sorry, I think we,
discuss and learn from the experts here on cloud computing. So we, our experts are here. It has been introduced by Champika. And to start with, I'll have a small analogy. We know the hybrid cars now are so popular, cars that we use today. But when the hybrid cars were there about a couple of years ago, many were very skeptical in using the hybrid cars. Some people said the batteries would not live for long, and we'll have to spend a lot for maintaining the batteries, and sometimes if an accident is there, that would cause huge electrocution for the passengers inside. So like that, there were so many skeptical ideas about the hybrid cars. Now it is all gone. Now everybody is crazy about hybrid cars. So that's how the technology, the future goes on. So I believe it is the same happening to the cloud computing also. Nowadays, still not many are very positive about going into cloud. Still some are very negative and skeptical about going to cloud. So that's why we are here to discuss about the cloud computing, where we have the experts with us who can explain their views and thoughts about cloud computing. Start with, I just would like to ask Dr. Nimar, why do you think a company or a big organization like a bank should migrate into cloud computing?
Okay, I think I am not a salesman for cloud computing, but I will, coming from the academic side, I will give reasons why institutions or even small companies should consider cloud computing. I think it boils down to lower total cost of ownership. It's, in order to deploy a server, you have to have hardware, you have the headaches of maintaining the hardware, you have to house it in a proper place, power, air conditioning, etc. And every few years you have to renew the hardware. And all those hassles are gone if you use cloud computing. Of course, connectivity is a big issue, but the connectivity is so cheap nowadays, it's almost negligible. So the total cost of ownership is going to be really very low. Also, things that you say deploying a new server. If you are going with physical servers, you have to buy a machine, connect it somewhere, But with virtualization and cloud, it's so easy to deploy a new server.
And other most of the telco operators are moving towards the private cloud. It is more beneficial to them in terms of application response. Differentiate between the tenants and overlapping IPs between the authorized to speak about the future plans, but
you can say in generic
terms
terms,
of the challenges that the future challenge would be, the users are even the campus university students, they need to have a development portal to develop the application and deploy the application in any Androids or the Apple OS and connect their application to the network operators or the mobile application forms. So they don't want to sit here and then ask for a physical communication. So that we are focusing on the seamless infrastructure that will lead to the application end users to develop the IoT application or whatever the devices that they have and deploy them itself without any physical communication. They can log into the portal and deploy the mobile application, and that the response time or the application requirement from the telco sector nodes will be given automated. So that's the trend that we are focusing.
Okay, thanks, Mustali. Now, one other thing which always comes to the mind of cloud computing, migrating from on-premise to cloud, the big volumes of data. How can you transfer all those big
storage requirements and processing requirements? And as a service provider, being in the service provider space, if you want to be a cloud provider as well, of course, it's going to be difficult to compete with the likes of Microsoft or Amazon. But there is definitely a market for local cloud service providers because of regulatory requirements and so on. And if you want to gear up for that, then you need to start thinking about building your infrastructures to support your clouds, because now no longer do companies have to build data centers themselves or hire network analysts and network staff themselves, but as the service provider, you need to start doing that, and you need to be ready for that.
Thanks, Narendra. Now, how can you answer that, Wellington?
I was anyways going to kind of give a comment on what he just mentioned. See, I don't think it's a question of
extension here or a Microsoft Azure Edge here would definitely increase the adoption. And I urge you as service providers to start building the infrastructure that will enable them to, they can have just one Microsoft rack or one Amazon rack just to extend their edge without having to invest in a new data center. But if you do, just let me know.
Okay. Doctor, do you have any view in that?
No, I think
they've answered that. Okay. So now, Dr. Nimal is a person who is very much conversant with the open source technologies in the cloud computing.
And orchestration tools like libvirt from Red Hat, and then QEMU, etc. Google Ganeti also has, and many of the commercial cloud services that are being offered do use this technology.
Any others want to comment on the open source applications on cloud? On open source applications used in the cloud. Okay. One thing which always intrigues me is this open source technology. When you say, also again, people think when it's open source, it's not secure. So how do you think, when putting this open source into cloud, will that be secure enough?
I do not think that is really a valid concern, because whether it is open source or a proprietary solution, cloud, you are basically using a service, and the technology that they use for providing that service is really
so the tenant wise, so that we focus, we had a
offer cloud, the local operators or Microsoft or Google, Amazon, we can't offer cloud if we don't have applications for our customers to consume. I mean, our end customers.
Providers are a little bit behind the curve, and we're still catering to, okay, customers will move their entire hardware over. And by all means, the service providers on the sales and marketing side have a very valid reason for doing that, because as Wellington said, customers don't want to move. Even now that the C-level want to move to cloud because they've seen all these value additions and all of that. Now the IT departments are worried, right? You know, an IT department of 10 people, when there's not a single server in the office, what are 10 people going to do, right? So even service providers, just because they want to still preserve IT departments, they say, look, move your service, so you still need your IT department. In case something goes wrong, they have to come and attend to it. You know what? We'll give them space to sit in our data center as well. 3 of Sri Lanka.
How fast these operators or cloud service providers can innovate new capabilities, new features on their cloud platform would be the key, the way I see it. I mean, look at what's happening on data science right now, or artificial intelligence right now around the world. The cloud vendors who are innovating fast on commoditizing these things into services that the general public already...
Some features actually, but in the recent years, 2 features called control groups and namespaces. Those features were added into the Linux kernel, and now it is really possible for what are called containers to run without running several virtual machines, several kernels for virtual machines, but basically rely on the base kernel and still provide fairly good control of how resources are allocated between these containers, and also how these are separated from each other. This is actually, I think, if I am not mistaken, this is even also for courses.
For example, the big players like Facebook and Google, they are more migrating to like Scandinavian countries for cheaper hydropower, as well as closer to glaciers for cooling, cheaper cooling as well. So when you design a data center like in a country like here in Sri Lanka, where we have very unreliable grid power, and keeping measures to make sure the
2020, that is very important for us as an operator, because now we provide a lot of IP transit services, then transport services, as well as interconnection and terminations. Then the awareness, especially with the IoT aware data services, especially layer 2 services, guided based course, especially industry. So these are the next generation requirements. So basically enhanced mobile broadband is required. Also reliable low latency communication, that means submission ISP service won't invest.
To give the plug to our speaker.
With all of these issues, we are
Here, taking action for a better world. Save oil, save earth. S-Oil.
now even farmers can monitor their cows, their movement, their health, even the milk productivity, because each cows connected with sensors. So nowadays we are discussing with how we can integrate the shoes. Even then parents can monitor their kids very soon. So, but you know, like our kids are very smarter than the technologies. They can remove their shoes and go wherever they want. But we are coming to that level very soon. That's why even the former Cisco CEO also stated that Internet of everything will be 5 to 10 times more impactful than the whole Internet has been today. Compelling benefits. So we already discussed some of these. The cost saving, including smart meters, then energy. improved asset utilization, you can track your cows, you can track your supply chain, efficient process, real-time data monitor, then improved productivity. Overcoming challenges. So, but the process is there. What we are lacking at is the coordination mechanism. So we have to have that coordination mechanism. As Dr. Gihan said, like we can initiate this.
Yeah, we all talk about IoT and EOT, whatever you are saying, but how many companies do you think they are really considering about security inside the IoT devices?
Yeah,
because it's a small device, but I don't know how they're going to integrate it.
Yeah, exactly, because at the moment.
Okay, now our next speaker, which is in fact the last speaker as well for the day. So we kept the best for the last, right? So that's Pubudu. So Pubudu is from APNIC, and so he's going to talk about what APNIC is doing, and also lots of important updates, especially for operators here, because I believe many of the operators.
Yeah, and apart from APNIC, there are 4 other RIRs in the world: RIPE for Europe, AFRINIC for Africa, Lknog for Latin America, ARIN for North America, and APNIC for Asia Pacific region. And in our region, there are 56 economies with 6,300 plus direct members as of September, all the way starting from Afghanistan until the Pacific Islands in the east. And if you take internet as an ecosystem, you can see there are internet users in the middle, and the content providers in the middle section in the blue color, and what's around that is the enablers, and one of those enablers is the number registries, and that is where APNIC falls in the ecosystem of internet. And as a registry, we are getting involved with research, resource distribution, registration services, and so on. I'm not going to explain everything, but you can look it up on our website if you're interested. And where do IP numbers come from? The standards are developed at the IETF, and then it's passed on to IANA, which is a department of ICANN. And they are overseeing the global IP distribution, and IANA distributes these IP resources to 5 RIRs in the world. And from there onwards, they are given to local internet registries, which are LIRs, and they in turn gets to end users. And APNIC is a non-for-profit, membership-driven organization. What you see in blue color is the direct members. So at 2017, around this time, it's 6,300. And we also have some NIR members, which are national internet registries. There are 7 of them. So including them, we have close to 14,000 members, which we expect to pass 14,000 by the end of this year at the current rate. And this is a breakdown of what categories or industry types are APNIC members. Traditionally, hosting centers and internet service providers have been having a higher number of memberships, but over the recent years, banking, such as Bank of Ceylon, then Commercial Bank have joined APNIC, and then there are academic researchers such as Learn, and those are also joining APNIC when they want to get robust internet connectivity or multi-homing requirements are rising, when they get direct membership from APNIC. And some resource delegations and state of the resources such as IPv4, v6, I'll show it to them. So these are the IPv4 delegations over the years starting for the last 10 years. As you can see, East Asia and South Asia has been dominating in the recent times because they are fastly developing. And because of such demand for IPv4, we only have about a 3.3% of a /8 remaining at the moment. And Erin has already exhausted completely of fresh IP resources, and APNIC state is as shown, 0.3. So these are the statistics or the trend lines for the 5 RIRs. And you can see that APNIC will exhaust, if the trend is going to be the same, we'll run out of fresh IP addresses, so the last /8, probably around 2020, that is in 2.5 years' time. And with the exhaustion of IPv4 fresh addresses, what's happening is IPv4 transfers have been increasing over the time. This graph shows that transfers happening between APNIC members in blue colors, that is within the Asia-Pacific region, and between RIRs, that is with, we have policies to transfer with RIPE and ARIN at the moment. So in orange color, what you see is the transfers happening between those two registries. And most of the time, the IPs are coming from ARIN region where there are large historical blocks. So most of the orange color would be the transfers coming into APNIC from ARIN region. And to safeguard or to have some IP resources remaining for the newcomers, the policy proposals are being approved. The most significant one, which happened on APNIC 44, is that the consensus was reached that the final resources, can members have taken the recycles pool space, that is the second /22 that we give out. At the moment, there is a big waiting list for that, but if you put in your name now, someday it'll be given. And I will not talk about RPKI much, but in the next slide, 10 accounts in Sri Lanka has enabled RPKI engine out of 17, which is pretty good, and that is the highest in the South Asia. I'll show in one of the next slides. Have seen East Asia and South Asia were dominant, but in this graph you can see Oceania is larger, that is Australia, New Zealand and the Pacific Islands. The reason is New Zealand and Australia prefer to have their own IP addresses for multi-homing. Even for a small company, they prefer to get IPs directly. So with the IPs, they originate their IP addresses from their own AS number. So the AS number demand is high in that region. But in Sri Lanka, you don't find small networks which have their own IP addresses. Instead, they prefer to go to their ISP to get IP addresses. So that is why the AS number count is not that high in our region. So we have a survey which is conducted every 2 years, and for the last survey, Sri Lanka was one of the focus group countries. And one of the, or actually the 3 of the top challenges faced by the network operators is related to security. So APNIC takes security seriously because whatever we get from the feedback is what we action on. So in security, we have Adli as our chief security specialist, and we are supporting the NOGs and then certs, and we have also hired a new security expert, Jamie Gillespie, so this is some information for you. And if you have any security concerns, or if you like to learn about how to engage with APNIC in regards to security, you can check on apnic.net/security. And in another aspect of security is RPKI, that is Resource Public Key Infrastructure, Route Origin Authorization Adoption. So I can show you that Sri Lanka is the highest in terms of ROA adoption in South Asia. So other activities that APNIC is engaged, we have a quite talented training team, and we have online training courses which are free of charge for anybody. It doesn't have to be an APNIC member. And then we have face-to-face workshops, tutorials, and technical outreach activities. Technical outreach is when you have a specific requirement, APNIC can become a consultant and visit your organizations if required. So that is a technical outreach. So for all of that information, you can go to training.apnic.net. And this is a new initiative taken in April 2017, APNIC Academy. This is for human capacity building. So at the moment, we have more than 1,000 registered and 350 persons have been certified. And we have some courses already available, and IPv4, v6 routing and security is coming up soon. So you are free to go and check these websites if you are interested. An APNIC Foundation is where funds are given for projects which have an ICT and community-based value. And in all of my slides, I have mentioned the website link so you can find more information. It's better than I explaining here. And we have a very active blog at APNIC, and you can be a guest blogger if you have any interesting topic. You can be a blogger and participate in the blogging. And at the moment, top 5 guest blogs, blogs have been IPv6 security training. So renowned authors from around the world have been guest bloggers, so you can go and get latest information from APNIC blog about what's happening around you and in around the world. And this is a tool that APNIC has developed. That is where we take all of the statistics and present to you in a useful way. What I showed you before is the IPv6 capability, and what's shown below is called AS-Viz. And it shows how the AS numbers are interconnected with each other in a country. So if you go to that web page and select Sri Lanka, it will show you how each AS number is connected with each other. And if an AS number is in middle of that circle, that means it has high traffic, and as it moves to the end of the circle, that means it's an end user with lower traffic. And you can click each of the AS numbers and see how the connections are made. And apart from that, there are other tables with information which can be useful for any research or any information. And of course, there are conferences, and the next one is happening in Kathmandu, Nepal. So it's quite close to you, and hope that some of you will be attending there. And you can register at 2018apricot.net/register. And this might interest you. So Apricot and APNIC conferences have fellowships. So these are given in priority to developing countries or economies. And if an individual can demonstrate that he can share the knowledge that he gets in these conferences back in his community, those are the people who gets priority in the selection. And last year we gave about 50 fellowships to Taichung, Taiwan, and 5 of them were from Sri Lanka. And at the moment, applications are open until the 30th of October. So if you have any interest to be a fellow, please submit your applications now. And later we have APNIC 46 coming up in New Caledonia, end of 2018, and it moves to Korea in 2019. You might wonder what is the difference between APNIC 46 and Apricot 2019. The names are different. So one is a standalone APNIC conference, and the other one is in conjunction with Apricot. That is why the 2 names. So you can stay in touch by Twitter. All the social media is there. So keep in touch to get all the latest information. And if you have any feedback, you can provide, because APNIC usually greatly values your feedback, and that is how we plan the future or have any future plans. So big thanks from the entire APNIC staff. So that concludes my presentation, and if you have any questions, you can ask me now or during the tea break, or you can email me. Any questions?
Any questions for Budu? I hope you have, especially from operators' point of view. How many of you have got IPv6 from APNIC? I think in the morning mentioned about how it is to get IPv6 as well, and APNIC also does a lot of capacity building and training as well, I think, as Pubudu covered. So, anyone, any questions?
What is ROA?
Okay, what is ROA? Good question.
Not many people know what ROA is.
Sorry?
Not many people know what ROA is, I think.
ROA.
Yeah.
Okay, I can explain a little bit. ROA stands for Route Origin Authorization. So that basically means you are allowing your IP addresses to be announced through AS number, which is again authorized by you. So this is a measure taken to prevent any accidental or intentional route hijacking. So there are quite a lot of incidents. The most famous one I can quote is YouTube hijacking by Pakistan AS number. So that would have been prevented or could have been prevented if ROA was in place and the validators were in place. Yeah, that is about it. And if you have any questions about that, I can explain in detail if you ask me. So more information is available again at apnic.net/ROA.
I think based on Pubudu's statistics, I saw almost like 90% of the operators have created ROAs.
Yes, they have.
Yeah, that's good. Any other comments? Okay, if not, let's give a big hand to Pubudu. Thank you very much. Okay, and let us all. So, who is? Huh? Yeah. So, Najib, how many plugs are left? Is only? We have Srimal, right? Yes. Srimal? Yes. Item of the conference, and now before we do the last winding up things, are there any questions? Actually, we also have a little short time for any open mic. So if you have any feedback, or if you have any anything to ask, or anything about the conference, or any feedback or any comments, this is the time now. Anyone? Tokens, we have APNIC. Of course, APNIC has been always a great supporter of NOGs in many countries, regional NOGs and so on. So APNIC has been always supportive from the very beginning. In fact, actually some of the early discussions about
really help throughout this event success is one of the key person here. So
we could use the and also finally another important supporter of us, that is the ISOC chapter, ISOC Sri Lanka chapter. Again, they were your face in the morning. They handle all the registrations, they handle all the logistics related to the registrations, handling they even call the participants and confirmations and all that. And there were 4 support staff we received from ISOC LK, especially Sagarika has been doing a lot of coordination. Sagarika is the ISOC president, ISOC LK president, and she has been another very important supporter for us as well. And with her, all that support plus the ISOC LK support, we managed to do especially all the logistics related things with regard to that event. I told you in the morning as well, we didn't hire any events management company and so on, because we did everything by ourselves, by the team. So with that regard, again, thanks very much for ISOC LK chapter and Sagarika or any other representative. We want to thank you, Srimal. Okay, thank you. And again, finally, thanks very much for all those sponsors. And I repeated this few times because, frankly, without them, we wouldn't have done this event. And also, most importantly, when we offered this complimentary, that is because, as you could see, you could come complimentary and go through this whole conference. So it was a great achievement even for us. So thanks very much. And also, finally, Yeah, I'm going to give that now. Yeah. Finally, also, actually, you have seen that our committee members, in fact, actually, our committee members were some of the speakers as well during the sessions today. And but also, there are some other committee members who did not speak, but they have been very active in the background. So I also want to call them for all that support that they have provided. So they get their deserved recognition. So let's call Sagarika. Okay. You can give this. Yeah. Oh. Okay. All right. Okay, then we have Ziam. So Ziam, again, he is a very busy man, and so he has been doing a lot of things, running around and talking to some of our very important panel members, speakers, and doing some of the quite useful coordination work as well. So without Ziam's support, in fact, actually, he has been helpful in many ways, even making all these plaques and doing all that hard work. Yes, thanks very much, Ziam, for all that help. Then we have, right, oh, of course, yeah, we'll keep the best for the last. Right, so,